Alright, welcome to a brand new style of review. Before we get started here, a warning for this book. I'm gonna step over here so you can see it right there. This review contains spoilers for this book. So yeah, let's talk about The Whispering Woods. So, The Whispering Wood was written back in 94 or something like that by Emery Clayton. Clayton Emery, of course. And yeah, Emery has written multiple books for Forgotten Realms back in the early, mid, and late 90s, back in the 90s basically, and has written for magazines but hasn't really published anything otherwise. Also has written for a bunch of what's called magazines and stuff. Yeah, this book stands at I don't know if we can call it respective, but at a 3.5 out of 5 on Goodreads. Now, does this mean it's a bad book? Not at all. It actually might mean it's a good book, but a niche audience, and the people who downvote it are the people who are not in the niche audience. We don't know. It is also an old book, so let's keep that in mind. Now, let's start out by talking about the cover. I'm gonna stand here so we can take a look at the cover right here. Ooh, yeah. So, the cover is a fairly straight 90s cover. I'm gonna be looking like this to make sure I got the details of the cover right, but I will stay here so you can keep seeing it and me. So, taking a look at the picture at the bottom itself, it's a fairly straight 90s fantasy cover, like straight in most literal sense, not just yeah, it's very straight. The book in general is very straight. But it's a bold move to take about a third to a half almost of the cover for just writing Magic the Gathering. And I know I've done it on books, Magic book I've done, but I don't have a picture on the books I create myself, at least not this type. So it's a bit different in my opinion, but oh well. So that's kinda, and then have a giant plastered special offer thingy, and I actually have the page for it in the book. I got this book used, of course. I wasn't born when this book came out, so it's kind of amazing to me. The special offer page in the back is still there. Don't worry, the offer ran out back in '96 when I was born, so I can't get my free card. I wouldn't want to. Now, for all one of you who actually care, now that we're done with the cover, I can sit back in the center. For all one of you who care, including myself, this is not considered canon for the Magic the Gathering universe, given that it takes place before Brothers' War, and yeah, that's just how it is, So, yeah, it's non-canon. And it's the second ever published Magic the Gathering book. First one in the what's called nicknamed the Greensleeves cycle, named after prominent character Greensleeves, who is described as a simpleton. And yeah, this book, it's very much 90s. So let's get into the first part of it book. Given it's a fairly short book, like it's 200 pages or so, it doesn't really make sense to separate it into sections like that I usually do, but I'm gonna try anyway for consistency's sake, especially after, I'm doing this, you can see me. So, let's start up with the protagonist, Gull. He's pretty decent, if not a little dull. I mean, I like that it's not some all-powerful wizard we're following, because that would make it way more difficult to write. However, yeah, Gull's personality basically goes down to must protect the Greensleeves, or my village is destroyed, I'm sad, or I don't know if I can love you because I'm sad because my village is destroyed and I have to protect Greensleeves. Yeah, it kinda, don't get me wrong, getting your entire village destroyed and having a sister who is definitely not normal in her head, yeah, I can definitely see why it would take a toll on you and why you would be very sad. But on the other hand, it would also be nice to have, more of a character. I definitely think Emery should have done, something more with the character. I really think it was a missed opportunity otherwise. Now, jumping to Greensleeves, there's not really much to say. In the first 7 chapters here, she's not really a character, so I don't really have an opinion on her. She's more just there and a reason for Gull to do anything. So, And now let's talk about the wizard Towser. So Towser, he seems fine. He isn't really much of a character here in the beginning. He seems well-meaning and genuinely sad that he destroyed Gull's village. Now, when reading this book, you kind of already know how. No, he's fake. When reading book, you kind of get that he is faking it. That Towser is definitely not, sad per se. And since on the cover it literally says, "Wizards are nothing but trouble. Ask Gull. He works for one." So guess what? We already know Gull's gonna work for him. We already know we can't trust any wizards. And guess what? Yeah, that's it. I actually thought the website gave anything other important. It doesn't. It writes, "Help wanted wizard assistant must be willing to relocate in time and space." So does that mean that Towser or other wizards in this world are planeswalkers? I don't know. Now, let's talk about the big fight, because that's basically what these 7 chapters really are built around. It's this huge fight in the beginning, and Emery really tried to make it seem epic. But it was just chaos, really. It was boring chaos. And I think it was because we didn't understood quite what's going on, and Gull didn't understood what was going on. So it's just stuff happened. Oh, giant is walking around. Oh, small knights attacking. But we don't get a giant bramble bush appears. That's pretty cool, though. But we don't understand shit. And that's kind of a big deal. Now, what would have helped is probably have multiple POV like a modern fantasy book would have. I'm not saying modern fantasy is better than contemporary 90s fantasy, or older, But I am saying, if you're not gonna introduce a lot more to the story, you should probably give us some POV so that at least us as readers aren't hopelessly lost. So, what do I think so far? Well, yeah, it's fairly standard Magic book, probably below average. It is below average, so it's not really that standard, you can say. But it just feels very 90s fantasy that we have this franchise and we needed some writing done for it. It doesn't feel like a whole lot. I mean, I'm not saying that Emery wasn't trying his best or doing a good job. I'm just saying that it definitely tells me that he either were working on a tight schedule, or maybe he bit off more than he could chew. Maybe he needed more time to polish it. I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't the right author for it. But yeah, in Modern Life, I would say way below average for the books I read published around the same time. I would say it's just below average. But so far, it's not like it's a bad read, but it's just there are better books out there. Let me start up with something that really, really irks me the wrong way, and that's the so-called romance in this book. There's no romance here. It's really shoehorned in. It almost feels like Emery has been asked to do it. But here's my interpretation. Lily goes like, "Oh, girl, I really, really want you. I want to be with you. I don't want to just have sex with you." And God like, "Yeah, I don't know if I can love again other than my sister." Non-sexual way, this is not Game of Thrones. "But my village just got destroyed, so I'm too sad, so I can't figure it out right now. But God, I really love you." "No, I only want to protect my sister and mourn my city." And it's just, it gets annoying really, really fast. Really fast, and it irks me the wrong way. So, in my opinion, as I was reading this, Lily really had to either leave him or Gull had to be clear, because it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to love you. It's more like, I don't know if I can. And it's like, either give it a shot, dude, or give up on it. Lily, you should give up and find another guy. Let's not go or Towser or any other guy in the group, because there's a lot of rape in this book. Or he's trying to rape. It's been a while since I wrote this, because I've been moving. Yeah. Something I did like, however, is the reference to magic cards. Shocker! The Magic the Gathering book has references to Magic the Gathering cards. I know! I boom! So, it's really more like, I like it because it fits it all together. And what I really enjoy is, charging badgers from this. And if you don't know charging badger, hear me out here. If you don't play Magic the Gathering, you can turn your ears off. I don't know, you can stop listening for a second. So charging badger is a 1/1 for 1 green creature. I think it's a beast. But here's the thing. It has trample. It's a 1/1 with trample. If you know Magic, that's so dumb. I love it. And that's why it's one of my favorite cards, because it's just so fun to be like, I have a 1/1 with trample. If you don't know what trample does, that's a whole nother one. Go look it up. It's gonna take a while, and that's not why we're here. Anyways, moving on. Something I do like, though, is the slow parts now, because now we're traveling in Towser's group, and I think that was so fun. I think Emery is really, really good at writing straight, white, petty men. I don't know why. It's just it comes off so good. I think it's so much fun, and I want more. I want more white men being petty with each other. Well, not necessarily white, but definitely being petty. I don't care about the color. It gives a very white feeling reading this. Yeah. Now, let's get to the second fight in this book, because God forbid we have longer sections without fighting, right? In our fantasy book, we need fantasy fights. So, let's talk about it. So, alright, this fight happens at night, and it is so much better than the first fight, because there's so much more, urgency. There's so much more chaos. Gull isn't just sitting around, or technically standing around, but we also get what's going on. We understand how these wizards fight, at least somewhat, and that's kind of important to me, because it's really boring otherwise. Now, something I don't like is that we are established Gull is not a fighter. He has a bad knee. He's chopped trees. He watch out for his sister, who can barely even say a single word. Yet still he wins every fight against trained soldiers. How? How do you do that? I don't get it. I think I move around a lot. Holy crap. I just realized. So, I don't get it. I would understand if he got lucky a few times, because he either got to jump or because he's so insanely strong with his axe that they just can't stop his swings. I get it. I would totally be down for him killing 1 or 2, and then cavalry came, or he had to flee or whatever. But no, he wins a lot for a guy who doesn't fight and has a bad knee. And, sad. So, yeah. I don't know, the book, it has some really good points, which are the traveling. I think the traveling is really good. I like when a book slows down its pace and delves into the minor details, the minor things that happen again, all the petty squabbles. I think that's fun. And the fighting did get better. For the final third of this book, let's talk. So, yes, there is another battle. So far, my sections has been, funnily enough, a third of the book. And for each third, there's a battle. Because we cannot have a fantasy book without constant battling. We just can't. Or else the book would be boring. People wouldn't read it if there isn't a battle. Why is there not battling more? Yeah, I don't get it either. I think it might just be, for the time. But then again, Lord of the Rings doesn't have battle every 20 pages or so. I don't know. But yeah. It's just, yeah. So I do like how Greensleeves transforms though and becomes a character. Can't believe, and she's actually pretty well written. I like her. She seems interesting, and it actually is what makes me want to read the rest of this trilogy. Also, I want to own them just because I'm a huge fan of Magic the Gathering. So yeah, I really like Greensleeves. I think she turns fun, and also I think Lily gets some pretty good characterization at the end, being a mage. So yeah, I really think that's good. Now, something I said in the beginning was we knew Towser was going to be a bad guy, and the book plays it up as if he's a twist villain, and I didn't like that. I generally very skeptical about twist villains because it's like, oh, you're my friend, I will help you. And like, yes, I am your friend. I am not his friend. I am your best friend. I am not. And then, he goes, I am not your best friend. I kill you now. And he goes, no, I thought you were my best friend. Yeah. This is fun. Alright, so I didn't like that. I think it would have been more fun if Towser actually were a good guy all along and just like were just eccentric or just didn't realize that, destroying villages is something you do when you battle a mage, and he keeps forgetting, or he, just keeps forgetting because he's so caught up in his studies. I think that would have been fun. I think that would have been way more entertaining. Now, something that confuses me, and that's a fan of Magic the Gathering, and not as a fan of Magic the Gathering. The book seems to use Mage and Planeswalker. Actually, it doesn't use the word Planeswalker at all, but I looked at Wiki, and Hauser, what I can tell, at least Greensleeves is supposed to become Planeswalker, and I do recall Hauser being one too, according to the Wiki. If that's the case, does that mean that, that's a retroactive thing, or what does that mean? I don't know, and I want to know. Is it Emery not using it, or is it Wizards of the Coast deciding he can't use it, or what is it? I don't know. And I know, like, Planeswalker as a card didn't come before, like, Ravnica or something like that, so I'm not saying that, but, that might be why they're actually not called Planeswalker, because then people will be like, I want a Planeswalker card, I don't know. That was a whole lot of rambling. Basically, the ending was pretty fairly standard. There was a battle. I didn't like it. That was like 90% of this. And then, Towser being a twist villain. Yeah, I don't know. Let's conclude. So this is it's fair below standard Magic fantasy book from the 90s. It suffers from all the things books from that time takes on. It's not very good at writing women. It's very straight. It's very white, and it likes battling a lot, and it's really, really, really annoying in the end. Is it a bad book? No, not particularly. It could have been worse. It could have been way worse. I've read worse books. There are worse books behind me. But, like, Twilight is somewhere here. Oh, it's right there, next to the host. I read worse book on the channel. I read Twilight on the channel. So, it's not a bad book. But, should you read it? No, you shouldn't. You can find way better books. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just kind of meh. Below meh. Like, meh. I don't know how to describe it. That's kind of bad when you're reviewing something. But no, it's just like, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I don't know. Should you read it if you care about Magic the Gathering lore? Only if you care that it's not canon. Because that's kind of important to realize it's not canon, and that's kind of a big deal. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would recommend it for anyone unless you are a huge fan of Magic the Gathering, like I am. Because I want all the books. Because I'm a nerd. And that's about it. And yeah, I don't know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. Hey, let me know if you like this. Let me know if I should do this more. Stand in front of my bookshelves talking with my microphone. I haven't done it before. Never tried it. As you can see on the channel. But yeah, let me know if you like it. And yeah. See ya.